It appears we've slipped into another dimension, a dimension of imagination. Sometimes imagination comes true. In this dimension, there's a man who can hardly say the alphabet. And at the same time, he also fancies the sniffing of random women's hair. In this land, it is a spooky dimension of mumblings and random nonsense. But a place where one such man could actually slip out of the basement and become the president. We are talking none other than the Biden zone.
Hello, Patriots. Hope you're doing well. This is CJ with the Patriot Nation Underground Conservatives. And we are talking about, yes, Sleepy Joe, the Biden zone. And matter of fact, Sleepy Joe Biden just had a town hall meeting with none other than Anderson Cooper. Don't watch the guy much. He actually makes me want to throw up often, but I happen to turn it on just to kind of get up to speed on things. And so basically a couple of things stood out to me. The first is this. Sleepy Joe was kind of dodging around here trying to decide, should I speak strong? Should I speak encouraging? Should I not offend? That kind of thing. So he kind of acted like he was going to offend the interviewer, and he said, well, I really shouldn't say that. And then he goes on to say that, we never had access to the vaccines, when we first came into office, which is an absolute lie.
As you remember, when you and I shouldn't say it that way, as you remember, but when you and I talked last, we talked about, it's one thing to have the vaccine, which we didn't have when we came into office, but a vaccinator. How do you get the vaccine?
It's a lie because Sleepy Joe actually got the vaccine before he got into office because the previous administration, President Donald Trump's administration, actually had worked hard to make the vaccine accessible to people as quickly as possible. So Sleepy Joe, who actually got the vaccine before he took office, when he comes into office says, we never had access to the vaccine, even though I got it in my arm. Sleepy Joe, dude, are you lying? Or are you just flat out stupid? What is with you, dude? You are some crazy man. He's been introduced to the questions. He's been told what to say. So he's been rehearsing. So this is totally set up. And these are softball questions, by the way. So these are people who would love Sleepy Joe or want stuff from Sleepy Joe. Give me a handout here, give me a handout there, Sleepy. Matter of fact, he actually offers to help a few people. Let me talk to you afterward. And so that's Sleepy Joe. And this whole thing was set up, concocted in such a way to be a little bit like a theater. And so anyway, so Sleepy Joe was answering a question from another guy. And so this guy basically was asking him about the Capitol riot. And this guy said, I'm really concerned about the Capitol riot, this and that. And right away, Sleepy Joe responds about white supremacy. I'm worried about white supremacy. Everything's white supremacy. And instead of calling it civil rights, he calls it civil whites.
Because of civil rights and opposition to white supremacists, civil rights and opposition.
The guy is like so obsessed with the knee-jerk answer of white supremacy, this and that and this. It looks to me like he's just flat out virtue signaling. He looks like he's just trying to say, hey, I feel really guilty, and so I'm just going to say white supremacy is the cause of everything. He said white supremacy is the greatest risk to terrorism. He said the greatest risk to terrorism is white supremacy, which is bizarre. It makes no sense. The
position to white supremacists, the Ku Klux Klan, and the most dangerous people in America continue to exist. That is the greatest threat to terror in America, domestic terror exists. That is the greatest threat to terror in America, domestic terror.
Point is, so he's making it sound like white supremacy is the greatest terrorism in the world. I mean, no offense, I don't even know anybody who's a white supremacist. I've never met one in my life, so I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But hey, maybe Sleepy Joe, maybe he has some other intel. I don't know. I kind of feel like he's
Bullshitting.
He's talking about, when kids should go back to school and how we're going to have them go back to school. And we'll make sure everything's safe. And it was a teacher asking him this question because the teacher didn't want to get sick because they've been told they can get sick from the coronavirus. And of course, anybody can get sick. We understand this. But there is an extra level of paranoia going on these days. And we all know it's going on, right? So anyway, basically Sleepy Joe said, well, you need to be certain, and we're going to get the vaccination to everybody. To the janitor, the bus drivers, and big buses, small buses. Well, it doesn't mean the buses has to be big. You can have 60 people on the bus. You can have 5 people on the bus, and he's going on and on about all these ramblings about the bus, the janitor,
the janitors, the people who work in the cafeteria, the bus drivers. You have 3 classes in that same of 10 kids each in those. I'm making the number up, less. Things that relate, but I think that we can no longer look. You've heard. Even if you're not involved in.
You do want a pathway to citizenship for roughly 11 million undocumented immigrants, and that would be essential in any bill for you.
Well, yes, but by the way, we used to allow refugees, 125,000 refugees into the United States on a yearly basis. It was as high as 250,000. Trump cut it to 5,000. Come with me into Sierra Leone. Come with me into parts of Lebanon. Come with me around the world and see people piled up in camps.
What are you doing about stopping these things happening? And Sleepy Joe's like, yeah, I'm very concerned about these things, and he talks about, he said civil whites, and then he goes, white supremacy, civil whites, and what the hell are you talking about, dude? Half the time, you're full of crap. Keep pressing on. God bless you. Look forward to what goes on next in this ongoing saga in the United States of America. See you guys. God bless.
It appears we've slipped into another dimension. A dimension of imagination. But a place where one such man could actually slip out of the basement and become the president. We are talking none other than the Biden zone.
Please support us by liking and subscribing to the Patriot Nation YouTube channel below.